She told me she stayed friends with her ex because he was family. I told her it didn't sit right with me. She looked me in the eye and said, "Maybe you're just not secure enough to date me." So for her birthday dinner, the one I'd been planning for weeks, I invited her ex. They sat across from each other while I calmly read their entire message history aloud. 92 missed calls. She left before dessert. I've never thought of myself as jealous, possessive, insecure, or controlling. Those aren't words anyone would use to describe me. I believe and trust in giving people space. I think it's important that people maintain their own lives, their own connections. But there's a line between trust and denial, between being secure and being foolish. It took me longer than it should have to understand that. I met Vanessa at a wedding last spring. She was a maid of honor, and I was there as a college friend to groom. We clicked instantly, one of those rare moments where hours pass like minutes. By the end of the night, we were making plans for dinner the following weekend. Everything escalated quickly. Vanessa was bright, driven, beautiful. She worked as a hospital administrator and had this electric energy about her. Within a few months, we were basically living together, dividing time between our places. I was falling for her. It felt like she was falling too. About 4 months in, Jason's name came up. We were eating dinner when she got a call, glanced at the screen, and stepped out. When she came back, I asked who it was. "Just Jason," she said, brushing it off like it was nothing. "An old friend." A week later, while scrolling through vacation pictures on her phone, I noticed him in several. "Who's that?" I asked. "Oh, that's Jason," she replied, quickly swiping away. "The same one who called the other night?" She hesitated. "Yeah, we dated for a couple of years, but we're just friends now." "Have been for ages." I nodded. "I mean, lots of people stay friends with their exes. That's healthy, right? Mature, even." But as time went on, his name kept popping up. Comments she'd make about conversations with him, jokes he'd told her, advice he'd given. It was starting to become noticeable. "You and Jason talk a lot," I said casually one evening. She straightened slightly. "Is that a problem?" "Not necessarily. I'm just wondering why you're so close with an ex." She put down her wine glass. "Jason isn't just an ex. He's family." That was news. Family? His sister married my cousin. We're all close. Holidays, get-togethers, he's just part of the group. It kind of made sense, but something about the explanation felt too smooth, like a line she'd used before. Still, I didn't push. I never wanted to be the suspicious boyfriend. But Jason's presence in her life only grew more obvious. She'd step outside to take his calls, sometimes in the middle of our dates. One night, I woke up at 2 a.m. to find her missing from bed. She was in the living room, laughing softly during a quick catch-up call. "He was going through something," she said. When I finally told her it made me uncomfortable, she hit back hard. "Maybe you're just not secure enough to date me." That stung. "It's not about insecurity," I said. "It's about boundaries. Would you be okay if I was constantly texting and calling an ex?" "If she was family, yes." "He's not actually your family," I said. "He's your ex, who happens to be connected to your family." She looked at me like I disappointed her. "I thought you were different. Every guy ends up getting weird about Jason. I really expected more from you." And just like that, I was the one apologizing. For what? For having reasonable concerns? For feeling what any sane person would feel? But I backed down. I loved her. Maybe I was being insecure. Maybe it was my problem. 2 weeks later, she left her laptop open while she showered. We'd been working side by side all morning. Her laptop pinged with a new message. I glanced over without thinking. It was from Jason. The message wasn't friendly. "Last night was incredible. Still thinking about how you felt. Can't wait for next time." My stomach dropped. I stared at the screen, frozen. Then I broke every personal rule I'd ever had. I opened their message thread. It was all there. Months of explicit texts. Coordinated meetups behind my back. Private jokes about me, about how clueless I was. "He actually believed the family excuse," Jason wrote. Vanessa had replied, "He's sweet, but so naive. Doesn't ask questions," which works for me. I kept reading. It wasn't just a one-time slip. This had been going on the whole time. I wasn't her partner. I was the decoy, the fallback, the mask. I took screenshots of everything, sent them to myself, and quietly closed the laptop. When Vanessa came out of the shower, I kissed her on the cheek and told her I had to head into the office. Instead, I went to a cafe and started planning. Her birthday was that weekend. I'd already booked us a special dinner downtown, something intimate, romantic. I made 2 changes. First, I upped the reservation from 2 to 3. Second, I emailed Jason. I acted like I was planning a surprise. Said Vanessa always talked about how close they were, how much he meant to her. Told him I wanted her to have all her favorite people at the dinner. Could he join us? He replied fast. That's really thoughtful, man. I'd love to come. Perfect. That night, I picked her up with flowers and a gift, a silver bracelet I bought weeks earlier, back when I still believed in us. You look beautiful, I told her. She smiled. Thank you, and thank you for doing this. Tonight will definitely be special, I said. At the restaurant, I'd requested a booth near the entrance. I sat facing the door. Vanessa had her back to it. The third place setting was across from her. Champagne to start? I asked, ordering before she could answer. We chatted for a while. She seemed relaxed, happy, completely unaware. When the champagne arrived, I raised my glass. To honesty, I said. She paused just a second too long, then raised hers. To honesty. And then the door opened. I saw Jason enter the restaurant, his eyes sweeping the room. I lifted my hand slightly to catch his attention. The moment he noticed us, noticed Vanessa, his whole demeanor changed. What had been a friendly expression quickly turned to panic. He hesitated, clearly torn between coming over or turning around and leaving. I kept my smile steady and motioned him over again, more firmly this time. Vanessa noticed my attention was no longer on her and turned to see. What I was looking at made her face go pale as she caught sight of Jason approaching. What is he doing here? She stammered, spinning back to me. I invited him, I said, my tone cheerful. He's family, right? I thought he should be here for your birthday. Jason reached the table, his discomfort obvious. Hey, surprise, he said weakly. Jason, please have a seat. I gestured the empty chair directly across from Vanessa. I've been wanting to get to know you better. Jason's eyes flicked to Vanessa, who gave a tiny shake of her head, but was too late to back out gracefully. So he reluctantly sat down. The tension around the table was stifling, thicker than the air itself. Vanessa tried to recover, her voice tight but composed. This is unexpected. Thank you for including Jason. I raised my glass, still smiling. Of course. I know how close you two are. The silence that followed was loaded. Jason fidgeted with his napkin. Vanessa threw him glances that were equal parts warning and desperation. I kept a friendly mask on. So, Jason, I said casually, Vanessa tells me you go way back. Something about your sister marrying her cousin? Jason swallowed hard. Yeah, something like that. Interesting. I nodded. Which cousin exactly? Vanessa jumped in, trying to steer the conversation. It's complicated. Extended family. You wouldn't know them. Try me, I said, still smiling. Another pause. Thankfully, the waiter arrived to take our orders, giving us a brief moment of normalcy. When he left, I reached into my bag, pulled out my tablet, and set it gently on the table. Both Jason and Vanessa watched it like it might explode. You know what I thought might be fun? I said, unlocking the screen. Some light, reading while we wait for the appetizers. Vanessa's eyes widened with realization. What are you doing? She asked, alarmed. Just sharing a few interesting messages I came across. I said, clearing my throat, I began to read aloud, calmly and clearly. Last night was incredible. Still thinking about how you felt. Can't wait for next time. I looked up at Jason. Very poetic. Their faces lost what little color remained. Jason half stood, but I kept going. You really thought I'd buy that whole family connection excuse? I said, not exactly subtle. I turned to Vanessa. That line was yours, by the way. About me, in case there's any confusion. Stop this, she hissed, looking around the restaurant. Inappropriate. I laughed under my breath. Let's talk about inappropriate. I read more. Detailed messages, locations, times, and all the things they thought were so clever to hide. The jokes about me, the mockery of my emotions, their contempt for my supposed neediness. Jason sat in stunned silence. Vanessa shifted from shock to furious. You went through my private messages, she said, as if that were the issue. Yes, I said calmly. After I saw a message pop up on your laptop, it didn't take long to confirm what was going on. You had no right to do what you did, to lie, to make me question myself, to tell me I wasn't secure enough for you, when the truth was, I just wasn't naive enough to ignore the signs. Jason finally spoke. Look, man, this is between you and Vanessa. I should go. No, I interrupted. This involves you. You were part of the lie. You helped her deceive me. Made me feel like I was losing my mind. You don't get to just walk away. I looked back down. Shall I continue? Or should we skip to the part where you met up while I was at my grandmother's funeral? That one's especially charming. Vanessa shot to her feet, eyes wet with angry tears. I'm not staying here for this. Before you go, I said, reaching into my coat pocket and placing a small box on the table. Happy birthday. She stared. It's the key to my apartment. I've packed your things. They're by the door. Don't worry about returning the key. I'm changing the locks tomorrow. She grabbed the box and stormed out. Jason lingered a moment too long. You should probably go too, I told him, unless you want to hear more greatest hits. He mumbled something that might have been sorry and followed her out. I stayed behind, ordered another bottle of champagne, and for the first time in weeks, truly relaxed. The waiter, who had clearly picked up on the emotional temperature, approached with a mix of sympathy and admiration. Still want the dessert with a candle? He asked. Absolutely, I said. No reason to waste good tiramisu. By the time I got home, Vanessa had called 47 times. By morning, the number had almost doubled. I didn't answer. Her voicemails ran the emotional gamut. Sobbing apologies, furious accusations. Her texts were more of the same. She even sent friends to plead her case, insisting I had gone too far. I blocked them all, changed my number a week later, and moved to a new apartment the next month. It's been 6 months now. From what I've heard, Vanessa and Jason tried dating officially. It didn't last. Shocking, I know. Turns out 2 people who built something on lies couldn't trust each other. As for me, I'm better. It wasn't easy, but I'm healing. And I've learned to trust my instincts. That voice we sometimes dismiss as insecurity, it's often just our gut picking up on things our heart refuses to admit. I'm not someone who gets jealous easily, but I'm not someone you make a fool of twice. People say living well is the best revenge. I disagree. The best revenge is watching someone's face as you read back every word of their betrayal, right in the middle of their own birthday dinner, and then finishing the dessert they had to leave behind. It really was excellent tiramisu.